Hi, my name's Mina, and this is Hannah, and today we're going to go over 5 common pet poisons with you. And the first two that I'm going to talk to you about are very common household items, and the first one is acetaminophen, and it is a very common pain reliever, and you can buy it over the counter. And if your dog gets a hold of it, symptoms can include brownish gray colored gums, labored breathing, swollen face, neck, or limbs, hypothermia, vomiting, jaundice, coma, and can cause non-repairable liver damage. They typically experience toxicity at over 75 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. It's recommended that you induce vomiting and seek veterinary attention immediately. Treatment can include supplemental oxygen, intravenous fluids, and or IV drugs, including vitamin C. The amino acid cysteine may be used for repairing any potential liver damage. The next one is chocolate. And the caffeine and theobromine are the ingredients that are harmful in chocolate. And if your cat gets a hold of it, symptoms can include vomiting, diarrhea, increased body temperature, increased reflex response, muscle rigidity, rapid breathing, increased heart rate, low blood pressure, seizures, cardiac failure, weakness, and coma. Symptoms may vary based on the amount of and type of chocolate that is ingested and can influence the severity of the condition. Bring your cat to the veterinarian immediately. It's also recommended that you induce vomiting. You may need to control seizures if they occur. Fluids will be administered to keep the cat hydrated, and a bland diet is necessary for the next several days. So it's very important that you keep all possible toxins out of reach from your cat and or dog.
The next common poison I'm going to talk to you about is a poison that is common among horses. It is the red maple leaf. You can see these trees in pasture or near pasture, especially if the pasture is near the woods. But like I said, if the horse ingests a red maple leaf, it can be very toxic to them. The first few signs that you see with red maple, they're kind of non-specific. It's depression, anorexia, but over the next few days after they have ingested a red maple leaf, you can see some jaundice, you can see blood in the urine, the mucous membranes will turn like a brownish color. What the red maple leaf does is it destroys their red blood cells. It can also cause Heinz body formation in those red blood cells as well. And also when those red blood cells are destroyed, that material and waste can gather and pool in the tubules of the kidney and kind of block things to where filtration is not happening, and you can get renal failure, kidney failure as well. The treatment for this, if you notice it and you catch it early enough, you can use activated charcoal to combat the effects of red maple leaf. And also you'll need to do IV fluids to prevent dehydration and to support those kidneys. Ascorbic acid is usually used in the treatment, and then sometimes even a blood transfusion is needed. It's a pretty guarded prognosis, even if you catch it early. So you just want to make sure that your pasture is clear of red maple trees, and that your horses can't reach over and get in the woods if there's a wooded area near the pasture. The next common poison I'm going to talk to you about affects cats and dogs. It's zinc poisoning. There are a lot of many different resources or sources that zinc can come from, zinc poisoning. The most common one that I'm going to talk to you about is your change. So at night, when you get home and you empty your pockets and you just lay your pennies or whatever on your dresser or whatever, wherever you place it on the table, it's probably not a good idea to do that. You'll want to put that away where your critters can't get a hold of them. Symptoms, if it's ingested, some coins can be ingested and passed through normally. However, if it's coin with a lot of zinc on it and it can't be passed through for whatever reason, too big or whatnot, you can see weakness, pale gums, vomiting, increased respiration. The heart rate's going to increase, which can cause fatigue, discolored urine. They can get jaundice gums because of liver damage. They'll decrease in their appetite and even collapse and sometimes death. What happens if if a coin is ingested that has a large amount of zinc on it, is the coin enters the stomach, and the stomach acid breaks down the zinc that's on the coin, and then the zinc is absorbed into the bloodstream, and then once it's in the bloodstream, it destroys the red blood cells, and it also causes damage to the liver, because that's where the liver processes everything. It's going to cause kidney damage, and also it's going to cause damage to the heart. Treatment for this obviously is to make sure you get the coin removed. Like I said, some pass through and there's no problems. However, if it's going to cause problems, if it's going to need to be removed, if it can't be passed for whatever reason, so that means surgery. You also want to do IV fluids for supportive care, and also treat the GI upset and the levels of toxicity in the bloodstream. So when you get home at night, it's going to be a good idea that you just put your coin in your piggy bank and just keep it out of the reach of your critters. The last common poison I'm going to talk to you about is called xylitol. This is mostly toxic to dogs in large amounts. What it is it's a natural sugar alcohol. It has a very sweet taste, and it also fights plaque. So you're going to see this in your common products like chewing gum, breath mints, multivitamins, baked goods, your dental products, so your toothpaste and your mouthwash. Xylitol is found in small amounts in pet oral care products. So if you buy a pet oral care product and you're reading on it and you're like, hey, this has xylitol, why is this for pets if it's going to be toxic to my dog? It's only toxic in large amounts. So you still want to be careful with the amount that you're doing, but a veterinarian is not going to sell you something harmful to your pet. And then like signs that go along with large amounts of ingestion of xylitol, hypoglycemia, so the blood sugar is going to drop. You can see loss of coordination and vomiting, and that usually happens within the first hour of ingestion. You can see collapse, seizures, and like we talked about, it's going to cause some liver damage, and you can see evidence of that within the first 24 or 48 hours of ingestion. So you could see some jaundice and things with that. It causes hypoglycemia, like we talked about, liver damage, and stomach upset. Treatment of this, you want to induce vomiting. If you've noticed that, like if your dog, for you ladies, if your dog got in your purse and ingested like a whole bunch of gum, you'd want to induce vomiting. Your veterinarian may do a gastric lavage or to pump the stomach. And then with the hypoglycemic condition, you want to treat with IV fluids with dextrose. The prognosis is pretty good, especially if you catch it early. So that concludes our talk on our 5 common poisons. As always, with any of these things, anything that you're in question about, if you've noticed that your dog ate 2 or 3 pieces of gum and you just want to make sure, always consult your veterinarian for any questions that you have, just to make sure. It's always better to err on the side of caution than to cause severe damage to your pet. So we appreciate you listening to us, and if you want to get more information on any of these products that we talked about, detailed information, you can just see the comment section below this video. It will have a list of our references where you can go and visit those websites and get more information. So we thank you for listening to us, and we hope that you learned something and that will keep you safe and your pets safe.
Thank you.